An intro so nice we get to do it twice. Welcome back to the Saints Gaming CA Twitch channel as we are finally about to get underway with game number one here between the Wichita Wolves Black and St. Clair Saints in Upsurge minor league playoff game action. Of course, we were going to try to do this again, but Wichita tried to pull some funny business, whether it be intentionally or not, had us under a briefest of pauses, but now the dispute has been settled here. And in regards to what everybody has missed, haven't missed a beat. We didn't even get off the actual platform itself. All we should know here is we do hop into the game here this time by in just the briefest of moments. Now that everybody's in their actual proper positions, as I again going to be taking that Ivern up to the top lane. Fisher Friends properly being shown here in the jungle this time by. Good competitive League of Legends 101. Everybody is in the right order. Well done, Wichita. But just about to get underway, of course. Now, with this setup here, and with the absolute fuming nature of both of these teams right now, of course, Saints definitely frustrated with having to deal with what Wichita's doing. Wichita, obviously, they're on something else here today, so... And with both teams seeing red, prediction in the chat for game number one. Will this game be a bloodbath? Will we see 40 kills across both teams? Like in total, from the entire game, rather. A lot of people are thinking yes as of this moment, however. You still got a couple more minutes to vote in on this. We do see an early gank attempt here from Lassie, or actually no, from Superstar, the sneaky little death bush, but it's just going to end up being a bit of a trade of health bars, a little bit off Superstar, a little bit off Lassie. Nothing too crazy as of this moment. Of course, for those who didn't maybe catch our very first initial intro before we had to do the remake. Of course, this is the Wichita Wolves Black Squad. This is a different Wichita Wolves than whom we played during the regular season. Those guys were cool, but not going to be anything too crazy here. Apparently, from what I'm being told, apparently the top laner and the jungler kind of change roles depending on the matchup. So in all honesty, it very well could have just been a sake that they didn't back out and switch up after the fact, but nonetheless, the game is here. Shall not dwell on it any longer here. Looking forward to this matchup still between the Wolves and the Saints. Nice and quiet start to things for the most part, other than that little death bush attempt from Superstar and Grim, and now that level 2, or level 3 hits rather, that is going to be the go button here for the side of the Wolves. Miensfo getting ignited, taking a lot of heat. Lassie getting a little bit of damage. Watch out for Superstar. Miensfo overstays his welcome, and that is going to be first blood going over to Grim. Hitting level 3 first and absolutely just smashing the go button, going for it. And then Lassie has to be careful. Superstar can still get the hook here onto the squad. Grim gets a little bit overzealous, gonna have to burn his flash, but uses the heal as well. Keep himself nice and safe just to keep Lassie on his toes. That did end up burning the heal as well, so we'll have to see as we move forward here. Unfortunately, they're from Miensfo. Of course, Enchanter is not necessarily his first choice in regards to champion picks. We normally see him on some hard engage kind of style champions, but not going to be the case here. Fish our friends going right into the Saints jungle, and Lassie is going to find the finishing blow onto Fish our friends. Overstays his welcome a little bit, does get the Gromp, but was that worth your life and your summer spells? I don't think so. So a bit of an unfortunate play there for the side of Fish our friends, and solid job there from Lassie and Miensfo to be able to jump on that. But pretty much other than the bot lane, everywhere else has been rather quiet, to say the least here. Mid lane basically going even, PBN alongside Frez just basically completely even in regards to CS. Jungling has been pretty quiet other than Fish Our Friends is ever so slight of an overextension. Top lane, slightly in the favor of Kubra, but that being said, this Ivern being able to shield himself doesn't take a whole heck of a lot from Kubra's aggression. Should be able to just kind of stall this out and try to farm under turret and be just fine. But so far, of course, Kubra with the CS advantage. We'll get to see if that does continue forward as this game goes along, or if Ivern will switch into the... or not switch into it, but... oh, not overextend, but... words. We'll see, of course, if he can extend that lead. That's the word I'm looking for. But sure enough, as soon as it goes under the turret, Aijin does a good job of getting right back up there, keeping it within 2. Hook from onto Lassie is barely going to go wide. Nice attempt there from Superstar. Okay, with the mid laners both hitting 6, it could be a little bit scary there for Frez or for PBN, but actually engaged down here in the bot lane. Superstar's going to find Lassie. They tried to pass over the kill from Fish Our Friends to Lassie, and it's not going to go in their favor. That's going to allow the Wichita Wolves squad get themselves 2 kills on the board. Grim on the Tristana already with 2 kills early into this game. A lot of focus being shown here on this bot side of things. And right now, they have been able to essentially take control of this lane, which, I mean, we know St. Clair love to try and get Lassie as far ahead as possible and see what they can do to have him continue to carry into the late game as well. But solid job from the Wolves to start things off. That being said, here up in the top lane, Daisy gets popped here for IGN. Or again, I don't know how to pronounce that. We'll go for again. Pops to Daisy, and it's going to at least shut down Kubra's aggression, but he did definitely take a good chunk of damage. Superstar making the roam. That's going to be the Randy Shockwave. It's actually going to catch Frez, and that's definitely a heartbreaker there. Probably thought that he was out of range. Had flash available, does not pop it. That's going to be absolutely catastrophic there for Frez. PBN and Superstar are going to try and push us in. Actiforce going to try and clean up a little bit. Sneaky little Impale, though, tries to make something happen. Going to trade ultimates. PBN going for the finishing blow. Not going to find it. But it's going to force Actiforce to get out of dodge, go back to base. And Superstar actually going to find himself a plate. Yeah, now this bot lane is in a scary position if you're here for, of course, the hometown squad for the St. Clair side of things, with Lassie being at 48 CS compared to the 62 of Grim, plus the 2 kills and assist on the side of Grim. That Tristana is going to be scary moving forward. Lassie loves to be in the position where he can get confident and just dive on in with that Kaisa, try to find some picks for himself. But being this far behind, I don't think it would be very wise for him to even try anything like that. And anytime you put him into a position where he has to play passively, I'm not 100% sure if it necessarily works out for the Saints as a whole. 9 times out of 10, but of course would love to be wrong. I know the squad's been practicing for these playoff matches. Now, somewhere within the madness, the first dragon did end up going over to the side of Wichita Wolves as well, which, I mean, Saints, they love to play around that dragon and force dragon souls, so the fact that they're already down one means they're going to be even more uncomfortable across the board. The next dragon will be around in with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That will be a Mountain Drake, and that's going to be the flash burn there for Frez as Superstar with the roam. Going to make him a little bit uncomfortable there in that mid lane, get back to safety. I'm kind of worried here for the Saints, at least to start things off, because when you play scared, it can be a little bit rough, and we do see Speaking of playing scared, Fish Are Friends with the fear on that unstoppable onslaught. Just charges on through, lines up that kill nice and easy. Knew the flash was down. Nicely executed from the side of the Wichita Wolves. Okay, Kubra able to get these solid trades up against, again, here and there. However, of course, always able to stay nice and safe with that Ivor, and of course pop the Daisy if you need to for a little bit of extra interference, a little bit of extra knock-up as well. So he's just the, not the unstoppable, but the irritating presence up in that top lane that just does not die, even if you win the trades or not. So able to just keep farming up. So far, so good up in the top lane here. So far, so good overall here for the Wichita Wolves. Frez finding himself in a bit of an awkward position, going to find Fish Are Friends, and that's going to be a huge hook there from Superstar to stop any sort of impale from going down on to Fish Are Friends. And now they're going to get to retreat. They get to keep majority of their summoners, if I do recall correctly. Just a heal and maybe a teleport blown. So could have been a lot more. Granted, with the dragon being around the corner here in 40 seconds, could very well make an impact. But I mean, as long as they position themselves nicely, they should be a-okay. Kubra being found here in the lane. Oh, Fish Are Friends is not carrying the slightest, and Kubra unfortunately going to just walk into the same position as that shockwave, but they are going to turn and burn. At least get the 1-for-1 here, and it is onto the jungler as well, so that smite is gone. If the Saints do want to opt for Dragon, they would have the smite advantage until Fish Are Friends makes his way back here. Daisy has been popped early and is running interference here along the riverside. Superstar and Eigen both here try and slow down any sort of Dragon attempt, and to be honest, like, nicely done there, because in theory, Saints could have very easily just turned and tried to burn that Dragon down. But by them holding their ground, even though they are the player down, going to give them positioning to actually maybe take the Dragon for themselves. Saints just not even going to bother, just going to let Daisy go forward and face tank. Active Force does not have smite available, so yeah, Saints can't even contest this right now, so this is just going to be handed right over to the Wichita Wolves. And Daisy just getting deleted, apparently. That was kind of interesting. Let's take a quick rundown again, add some of these CS numbers, some of our lane comparisons here. With Frez getting picked out so often so far here in this mid lane, PBN and Fish Are Friends just absolutely abusing the fact that he didn't have Flash for the longest time. Finding 3 kills onto him, that definitely hurts. Didn't put him behind in CS per se, however, putting kills onto your Orianna, onto your Hecarim, and all that assist, and then getting the positioning, of course, to allow for Wichita Wolves to give the get the dragon, the second dragon for themselves. All coming up as profits there for them. Now, in theory, our timer should be up in regards to will Game 1 have 40 kills or more. 98% of you think that this will, in fact, be a bloodbath, but there is the 2% of you who think it's actually going to be a little bit tamer than you expect. So, have to see as this game goes on. Of course, only 8 kills on the board, but of course, still extremely early, 14 minutes into this game. Of course, with that bot turret now gone, this does just allow for Grim and Superstar to start roaming as a pair. Teaming up here with PBN as well. Fish Are Friends around the corner as well. Going to get out of dodge before any sort of shenanigans with Active Force or Kubra occurs. Granted, there probably would have been help right around the corner for them, so not bad. Next objective on the board within the next 30 seconds. We will have a Rift Herald available. With the way this game's been going so far, I feel like this one should probably go into the hands of the Wichita Wolves nice and quickly as well. Pretty well uncontested. I'm not sure if the Saints want to actually even bother trying to fight them even 5-on-5. They would have to find a pick or something to get anything going. And then one thing I also want to point out here in regards to the items, actually, we do see PBN paying the QSS tax already, the Skarner tax, nice and quick. So it's already one of the sought-after characters, sought-after champions here on the side of the Wichita Wolves, already buying their proper defensive items. As we do see Kubra trying to make a move here onto Superstar. Lassie going to dive on in. It's all shielded up, but it's still not going to be enough to kick care of Superstar. Blasted aside. Grim with the ultimate. Perfect timing. Superstar going to get out of dodge nicely. Nice play between the bot lane pair, keeping each other safe. The support's not the only one who gets to do supporting. Sometimes the AD carry can as well. And of course that buster shot there from Tristana, definitely a solid tool for doing exactly that. Sure enough, Rift Herald coming on over. There's 3 Saints around this this Herald, but at the same time does not seem like there is going to be any sort of contest. ActiveForce does have smites available, but they're just going to pass this on over. Still not going to opt for the engage. They do spot it out, but it's a too little too late. Bit of engage down here in the bot side of things. Eigen going up against Kubra. Meanwhile, a solid stun coming out here from Frez, finding multiple players on the side of the Wichita Wolves. ActiveForce in the back line, and they get the shutdown on the Grim, and it goes over to Lazi. Best case scenario here for St. Clair. 2 shutdowns, 2 bounties going into the pocket of Lazi. Get him back into this game. Meanwhile, Daisy and Eigen going absolutely nuts here onto Kubra. He's going to end up going down here in that 1v1. Nicely done there from Eigen on that Ivern. So a little bit of gold finally back into Lazi's pocket, but can they get back down into the river in time for Dragon number 3? I don't think the Saints will be able to. Fisher Friends already right here. Daisy here tanking things up as well, and there is PBN as well. ActiveForce is nearby. However, he's probably going to get zoned out a little bit here by Eigen. Does not have flash available. He has to just try and run it in. And unfortunately, not going to be solid here for ActiveForce. Good job on the side of the Wichita Wolves, bringing that down, being very decisive. If there's one thing that I've noticed here from this Wichita Wolves squad is whatever they decide to do, they all decide it extremely quickly. And then everybody is on board. Even if it's, I guess, even if it's a bad idea, they're all on board no matter what. So far, Wichita Wolves, of course, with 3 dragons in the pockets. Dragon Soul would be the Ocean Soul right around the corner here for them at this rate. Granted, at least now in regards to gold, the Saints, sure, they're down a couple thousand, but I've seen teams come back from worse. It's definitely a rough lead, to say the least, here for a side of Wichita Wolves Black, but it still can be done. But the fact that this Wichita Wolves squad are so quick on all of their decisions, it makes me believe that they're going to basically engage on everything they want instantly and disengage whenever they wish, all on the same page. And we're going to see Frez probably get popped here. Eigen there for backup as well. Fisher Friends with huge shields on him as well. Frez not going to be long for this world. No flash in hand. Sure enough, Fisher Friends going to pick up Frez once again for his 2nd kill of the game so far. Now the big objective, of course, that the Saints have to worry about will be in 3 minutes' time. We do see ActiveForce going to end up impaling onto Superstar. Of course, one of the players that does not have that QSS at the moment, so going to be able to just take him down for free. And that Nautilus, Superstar's Nautilus, is not to the point where it's a tanky beast right now, it is still somewhat squishy, and the Saints are going to be able to burst them down and at least get themselves the support, and giving Actiforce his first kill into this game. And Lassie, thinking about getting aggressive here onto Grim, does take him down by half. Grim does do a little bit of a chunk back with that bomb after the fact, but Saints slowly but surely are getting themselves into fighting shape here. The worst case scenario, or worst situation here, I do believe would then be in Frez's case, because he's just not necessarily at the spot he needs to be right now. Granted, leading that lane in CS, but of course going down 4 times, definitely painful, but at least has a couple assists on the board. Will he be able to burst down, say, Grim, for example? I'm not 100% sure, but he could at least do a good chunk. Yeah, so of course the next main objective within the next 2 minutes will be the Ocean Dragon. This is going to be Dragon number 4. Of course, if Wichita Wolves Black do end up closing this one out, they will be buffed up for the rest of the game. There, of course, with that Ocean Soul. Definitely be rough, put Saints on the back foot extremely badly. Definitely kind of worried, especially if that Dragon does go into the favor of Wichita, because the way the Saints are playing right now, they are fighting back. They are getting themselves slowly but surely back into this game. Actiforce thinking about impaling on to Fisher Friends, jumps on in, but this is a bit of an awkward spot here. Not a lot of damage, got the chance to go down. Saints are going to have to retreat from this. All 5 members on the side of Wichita are here, and that's a huge fear onto Lassie. He's going to get popped like nobody's business. Take care of Miezvo as well. Actiforce is not going to be able to make it back into the turret. The overextension, the over-eager engagement on the Saints side of things just absolutely destroyed them. This game, in theory, if Wichita Wolves played this right, should be in their hands, no question. Going to be able to pick up this Baron, go down to the Dragon, pick up the Dragon, and then just probably back up, load up on items, and then the Rift is your oyster. Just basically pick a lane and just shove it. Unfortunately there for Actiforce, that Impale just did not exactly get the Hecarim, get Fisher Friends in a position where Lassie could easily do damage. Just kind of stuck over the wall, and it did kind of end up going to waste. Now we are going to have ourselves a bit of a team fight down here by the Dragon, and it's going to end up going over uncontested to Fisher Friends. Team fight is still going to go down, however. Lassie's going to find himself 1 kill. There's going to be Fisher Friends getting gobbled up here by the Impale from Actiforce. But a lot of low health bars on the side of St. Clair. This could get cleaned up quickly. Again, going to find the kill onto Miezvo. Actiforce extremely low. Lassie is trying to make something happen, but just does not have the damage. Frez, good double stun, however, but still just not enough damage. That Hecarim is fast as heck, and he is going to be able to finish off Frez. That is going to be the ace, and this is probably going to be at least an inhibitor for this side of the Wichita Wolves, but at the same time, they could probably go for more with how far ahead they are in this situation. 16-6 in regards to kills, and now, as if like the Saints were coming back in regards to gold, not anymore. About 10k behind now. Inhibitor down. Looks like they're going on over, just finish off this mid turret as well. Get Daisy involved to let her tank. Nice and quick. Yeah, the only one who ended up going down on the side of the Wichita Wolves in game number 1, or not in game number 1, the only one who went down was Superstar in that last team fight. So Superstar doing exactly what he needs to do. Gets the engage off. He's a tank, sure. I might go down, but if I went down, it probably means my carry did not. And that's exactly what they need. Superstar actually going to find himself the kill here onto Actiforce. That Skarner has just no effectiveness so far here in this game. Got maybe the 1 elimination early, but other than that, just has not quite been able to find its mark here in game 1. Now, of course, Wichita just going to basically take everything they can. At this point, like, I don't blame them for not necessarily wanting to just like shove a lane down and just try to initially push down the Nexus. You're ahead, get further ahead. They're thinking about going for that top turret, but now they're actually just going to go back up and make sure they're all loaded up on items prior to their next engagement. What, in regards to objectives, is really around the corner? Nothing really until another 3 minutes, which of course would be the Baron coming back. So, turret's probably going to be the name of the game here. Grim all by himself at this moment. I guess Superstar's kind of close, so we'll probably be fine here. Definitely a fed Tristana at this point in time. 5 kills, 7 assists, only the 1 death. Solid farm, 30 ahead of Lazzy as of this moment. It's 1 top turret down. Just a matter of time before this next one goes down as well. Of course, all these players and plus a Tristana can just melt through turrets like no big deal. Here comes Superstar getting the engagement onto Active Force. He's not going to be able to move in the slightest. Brutal coming out here from the Wichita Wolves. Really putting on a clinic here on the St. Clair side of things as of this moment. Grim, of course, now that is further along in the game, has a little bit of extra range on those auto attacks, able to poke the turret a little bit easier compared to most of the champions in the game. Just a matter of time for waiting for the minions. Superstar on the move, does catch Kubra. Kubra is not going to be long for this world. Here comes the onslaught there from Fisher Friends as well, just to make sure that everybody's pushed aside. They're going to get this top inhibitor, move on down towards the mid section. Sure enough, take care of that turret, take care of this inhibitor. We're going to have super minions absolutely everywhere here to finish this one off. And one last dire attempt. I think Fisher Friends, he even has a QSS at this point in time. Active Force's Skarner is basically completely negated unless he wants to go for like a support or something like that. Maybe you can impale Daisy, but that's about it at this point here. Shockwave going to come in clutch and take care of one. PBN going to take care of Frez, and sure enough, the rest of the squad is going to just rush on in and just so much health, so much damage. They just have to push forward and go for it at this point. Get the ace, take the turrets down, we'll take the Nexus and put on an absolute clinic here in game number 1. Nicely done. Well then, so I think that first game probably took less time than the actual dispute to start this game. So a little bit worrisome here for the side of the hometown squad, for the St. Clair Saints, of course. A little bit of the mess up early in the series, and just for whatever reason, the draft, I mean, I'm sure some teams play this, but this doesn't scream a St. Clair draft to me. And it just seems very, very odd. And then to be honest, looking at all the players there from the Wichita Wolves, everything like I was saying before, they made their decisions, they all went in. They all retreated. They moved as a group. They engaged as a group. There was no stragglers at any point in time. And get themselves a quick soul, a good fight, Baron, Dragon, base, gone. Pretty straightforward. Exactly what they should be doing. So good job there for the side of the Wichita Wolves. We will be hopping into a very, very quick break while we get ready for game number 2. Saints definitely need to find a way to fight back here, because I know they have to be absolutely fuming right now. And low-key, kind of hope they take themselves a little bit of a timeout to try and recuperate themselves and not play tilted, because the Wolves, of course, did put them on tilt a little bit, apparently, just to get the facts straight. I mean, I'm taking facts from the Twitch chat, so I mean, take it as it will, but apparently one of the players is the sub. So if I recall correctly, Fisher Friends and Eigen both played jungle, so they didn't necessarily decide who was playing what until the time of. So it came off as, like, Saints didn't know, obviously, so it came off as kind of being shady of sorts. But that may not have necessarily been the case. And then that whole dispute process tilted everybody up, and then that was just beautifully done there from the side of the Wolves, just to add that little extra salt to have a win so decisive. So Saints, they need a reboot. We're going to take ourselves a quick 5-minute break, get the lobby all set up, and we'll get to see if the Saints can fight back and keep their Upsurge minor league hopes alive. Stay tuned, and we'll get right back to it.